Elon Musk announces he's getting married again. Elon Musk stared at the blinking cursor on his laptop, his mind racing with 1,000 thoughts. The world had already seen him as the visionary behind SpaceX, Tesla, Neuralink, and a dozen other ventures, yet here he was, facing something profoundly personal, something even more complex than rocket launches or AI breakthroughs. Today, he had a message to share, not about technology, but about love. "I've always believed in following your heart," Elon typed slowly, pausing as memories of past relationships flickered across his mind. "Life is short, and despite all the chaos, the challenges, and the scrutiny, I've found someone who makes my world feel complete." He leaned back, contemplating the weight of the announcement he was about to make. The cursor blinked insistently, as if urging him to continue. "I'm getting married again," he finally wrote, then deleted it, rewritten in a more measured tone. "I am happy to announce that I am engaged and will soon be married." The world would react with a mixture of shock, curiosity, and admiration. Elon knew that. Headlines would pop up within minutes, social media would explode with theories and memes, and fans would debate whether this union could withstand the relentless pressures that had defined his life so far. But for him, it was not about public opinion. It was about connection, understanding, and the rare, irreplaceable feeling of finding someone who could truly walk beside you, even through the extraordinary. From the moment he first met her, there had been something undeniable. Their conversations, whether about the mysteries of the universe, the potential of humanity, or the quiet simplicity of daily life, flowed with a rare harmony. Elon had always been a man driven by ideas, but now, he realized, he was equally driven by love. The idea that someone could understand him completely, not just the public persona, but the quiet, introspective thinker behind the headlines, was both humbling and exhilarating. The engagement ring glinted under the warm glow of the evening light. Elon picked it up, turning it slowly in his hands. It was elegant, understated, yet powerful, a reflection of the woman who had captured his heart. In that moment, he felt a calm he had never known in his high-stakes life. There was no stock market crash to worry about, no rocket launch to monitor, no AI to tweak. There was only this, love, pure and transformative. As the announcement went live, reactions came flooding in. Some were joyous, sharing congratulations and well wishes. Others were skeptical, analyzing past relationships and predicting how long this one would last. Elon ignored the noise. He had learned long ago that the public could never truly understand what happened behind closed doors. What mattered was trust, mutual respect, and a shared vision of the future, both personal and professional. But love, as Elon had discovered, was not without its challenges. Balancing the demands of a global empire with the intimacy of a relationship required patience, communication, and unwavering commitment. He had seen how fame and fortune could strain even the strongest connections, yet he believed in the resilience of human connection. This time, he was determined to approach love differently, not as a fleeting excitement, but as a lifelong partnership. Late at night, Elon often reflected on the lessons of his past. Each relationship had taught him something invaluable: empathy, patience, self-awareness, and the courage to be vulnerable. These lessons had shaped him into the man he was today, a man ready to embrace a new chapter of life with authenticity and openness. Elon's phone buzzed incessantly, a relentless stream of notifications demanding his attention. Messages from close friends, business partners, journalists, and even strangers poured in, each one reacting to the announcement. Some were heartfelt, filled with excitement and congratulations, while others were laced with skepticism, dissecting the timing, the circumstances, and even the choice of partner. He scrolled through the flood of responses, a faint smile tugging at the corners of his lips. The chatter of the world seemed distant now, like static in the background of a much deeper melody. His focus was not on the opinions, the headlines, or the social media frenzy, it was on her. On the quiet moments they shared, the laughter that echoed through empty rooms, the conversations that stretched long into the night, where the world outside ceased to exist. Elon leaned back, reflecting on how surreal it felt to be in this place again. Marriage had been a part of his life before, yet each experience had been unique, shaped by different circumstances, different expectations, and different versions of himself. Now, he approached it with a clarity and a serenity he had never known. The mistakes of the past were not forgotten, they were lessons etched deeply into his understanding of love and partnership. But he was no longer defined by them. Across the city, media outlets scrambled to cover the news. Analysts speculated on what this would mean for his public image, his business ventures, even the stock market. Headlines screamed, "Elon Musk engaged again," and "Love in the Time of Innovation, Musk's New Chapter." Yet amidst the frenzy, a quieter story unfolded. A man who had conquered technological frontiers now dared to navigate the most unpredictable territory of all, the human heart. His days became a delicate balancing act. Meetings with engineers, investors, and innovators were punctuated by moments stolen for private conversations, shared laughter, and subtle gestures that spoke louder than words. Every interaction with her reinforced the understanding that love was not just a feeling, it was a practice, a daily commitment, a conscious choice. Elon often found himself reflecting on the nature of destiny. Life had led him through a maze of challenges and triumphs, yet somehow, through the chaos and the uncertainty, he had arrived at this moment. Love, he realized, was both the destination and the journey. It required patience, understanding, and courage, and it demanded that one be fully present in every fleeting instant. Evenings were the most sacred. The world outside could wait, these were the hours reserved for connection, for intimacy, for shared dreams and whispered hopes. They would sit together, sometimes in silence, sometimes in conversation, yet always with a profound sense of togetherness. It was in these moments that Elon felt the full weight and beauty of what he had chosen, a partnership that transcended mere companionship, rooted instead in trust, respect, and an unwavering desire to see each other flourish. Yet, as with any path worth walking, obstacles emerged. The relentless scrutiny of the public eye threatened to intrude, and old insecurities occasionally surfaced, questioning the viability of happiness amidst such intensity. But Elon had learned to face these doubts with honesty, to address them not as threats but as opportunities to strengthen the foundation of their relationship. Communication became their anchor, empathy their guide, and love their shared language. News cycles spun on, controversies emerged and dissipated, but through it all, Elon remained steadfast. The lessons of the past had forged resilience within him. He understood that love, like innovation, required vision, patience, and the courage to take risks. And now, standing on the precipice of this new chapter, he embraced it fully, unafraid of what lay ahead. Late one night, as he gazed out at the city lights, Elon felt a profound sense of peace. The universe, in its vast complexity, had guided him here. Every decision, every failure, every triumph had led to this singular moment. And in that moment, surrounded by the quiet hum of a world that seemed both infinite and intimate, he knew one truth above all else: love, like the most daring ventures, was worth every risk. Days passed, each one blending seamlessly into the next, yet each carrying its own weight of anticipation. Elon found himself more attentive to details he had never noticed before: the way her eyes lit up when she spoke about her passions, the quiet strength in her laughter, the way small gestures of kindness could ripple through a room and transform its energy. These were the moments he cherished most, moments untouched by fame or fortune, moments that reminded him of the simple beauty of being human. Preparations for the wedding became an unexpected journey. Elon had approached business ventures with meticulous precision, but this, planning a celebration of love, required a different kind of attention. It was not about strategy, projections, or efficiency; it was about connection, intention, and creating an environment where two lives could converge in shared joy. He found himself sketching ideas late into the night, blending technology with tradition, innovation with sentiment. The venue, the ambience, even the smallest details of decor became opportunities to express a vision not just for a wedding, but for a life together. Friends and family gathered in private, their excitement and curiosity mingling with protective concern. Some had known him through past relationships, witnessing both heartbreak and resilience, and now they approached this news cautiously, yet with hope. Conversations were a mix of congratulations and gentle reminders, reflections on lessons learned, and encouragement to embrace the present fully. Elon listened, absorbing their words without judgment, understanding that the past and present were intertwined in shaping the future. Social media continued its relentless buzz. Memes circulated, analysts debated, and news outlets dissected every possible angle. Elon could have reacted with irritation, but instead, he chose to observe quietly. The world would have opinions, theories, and judgments, but love, he reminded himself, was not a public spectacle. It was personal, sacred, and resilient against the noise of external scrutiny. There were moments, however, when doubt crept in, subtle yet persistent. Could this last? Could love truly endure the pressures of his life, the endless responsibilities, the global gaze? In these moments, Elon leaned into reflection. He revisited lessons from past experiences, acknowledging mistakes without self-criticism, embracing growth without fear. He realized that love, like the ventures that had defined his career, required courage, the courage to be vulnerable, the courage to trust, the courage to hope even when the path ahead seemed uncertain. Amidst this, there were quiet, sacred rituals that became anchors. Elon and his fiancée would share early mornings, watching the city awaken, or late nights, immersed in conversations that spanned philosophy, dreams, and the subtle intricacies of human connection. These moments, fleeting yet profound, reminded them of the depth and significance of their choice, to walk through life together, supporting and inspiring each other along the way. One evening, as preparations reached a fevered pace, Elon paused to reflect on the journey that had led him here. Each failure, each triumph, Each heartbreak had been a step toward understanding what it meant to love deeply and authentically. The universe, in its intricate design, had guided him through trials that seemed insurmountable at the time, shaping him into someone capable of sustaining the kind of partnership he now envisioned. He thought of the future, not just the wedding day, but the life that would unfold afterward. A life of collaboration, shared dreams, and unwavering support. A life in which challenges would be met not alone, but together. A life where success was measured not merely by achievements, but by the joy, growth, and fulfillment nurtured within the partnership. Even as the world speculated, Elon focused on the intimate realities of love, the subtle ways trust is built, the patience required to understand one another fully, and the profound beauty of commitment. These were the lessons that no headline could capture, no social media post could convey, and no analyst could quantify. They existed only in the quiet, enduring spaces of shared experience, in the moments between words, in the gestures of care and attention that spoke louder than any announcement ever could. And as the wedding day approached, Elon found himself not in a rush, not overwhelmed by pressure or expectation, but grounded, centered, and filled with a deep, abiding sense of gratitude. Gratitude for the journey, for the lessons, for the opportunity to experience a love that was both extraordinary and profoundly human. The morning of the wedding dawned crisp and clear, a gentle breeze carrying the scent of blooming flowers across the venue. Elon awoke early, as he often did, but today there was a different rhythm to his heartbeat, a combination of anticipation, calm, and exhilaration. He sat quietly for a moment, absorbing the serenity before the day's whirlwind began. In that stillness, he allowed himself to reflect on the journey that had led to this point, the choices, the lessons, the heartbreaks, the breakthroughs, all converging into this singular moment of joy. Preparations were underway, and the air buzzed with activity. Staff moved gracefully, orchestrating every detail with precision, yet always mindful of the atmosphere of intimacy that Elon had requested. The decor blended modern elegance with timeless romance, soft lighting, subtle technological touches, and natural elements that honored both innovation and tradition. It was a space where the extraordinary and the human coexisted seamlessly, a reflection, Elon realized, of the life he envisioned with his fiancée. As he dressed, adjusting his suit with meticulous care, Elon's mind wandered to the significance of commitment. Marriage, he understood, was more than ceremony or celebration. It was a promise, a conscious decision to navigate life together, to support, challenge, and uplift one another. Each past relationship had taught him something essential, and now, with clarity and gratitude, he felt equipped to honor this union fully. Outside, guests began to arrive, their excitement palpable. Close friends, family, and a select group of colleagues and confidants gathered, drawn not by spectacle but by the shared desire to witness a union rooted in authenticity and connection. Elon greeted each person with warmth, his usual intensity softened by the profound sense of purpose that filled him. Every smile, every word of encouragement, reinforced the understanding that this day was about love, pure, resilient, transformative love, above all else. Moments before the ceremony, Elon took a quiet walk, reflecting on the journey that had brought him here. The world had often seemed to move too fast, expectations too heavy, the pressure relentless. Yet in this pause, he felt the profound simplicity of human connection, the beauty of shared vulnerability, the power of trust, the serenity that comes from aligning one's life with another soul. He thought of her, the laughter, the shared dreams, the quiet strength that had drawn him in, and felt a surge of gratitude for every twist and turn that had guided them to this moment. The ceremony began, a delicate interplay of tradition and personal expression. Elon's fiancée appeared, radiant and composed, her presence commanding yet tender. The room seemed to hold its breath, and in that shared pause, the world outside ceased to exist. Words were exchanged, vows spoken with intention, and promises made not only with eloquence but with the deep resonance of hearts fully committed. Elon listened intently, absorbing every sentiment, and when it was his turn, he spoke with a vulnerability he rarely revealed to the public. "I stand here not as a man defined by achievement, notoriety, or expectation, but as a person profoundly grateful to have found someone who sees me fully, challenges me gently, and inspires me endlessly. Today is not about spectacle or attention, it is about love, commitment, and the choice to walk together, through all uncertainty and possibility." Tears glistened in her eyes as she reached for his hand, the gesture simple yet infinitely powerful. In that instant, Elon felt the culmination of a journey that had spanned years, every triumph and setback, every question and revelation, leading to this profound alignment of hearts. The ceremony concluded with applause, smiles, and quiet tears of joy. Guests mingled, sharing in the celebration, yet the true significance of the day lay not in observation but in participation, the shared energy of two people committing to a life together. Elon and his bride moved gracefully among the attendees, listening, laughing, and savoring the depth of connection that radiated from every interaction. Even as the world buzzed with speculation, Elon remained grounded in the private reality of his choice. Love, he understood, was not contingent on public approval, media attention, or external validation. It thrived in the intimate spaces of honesty, trust, and mutual respect. And now, standing hand in hand with his partner, he felt the profound power of a decision made with clarity, courage, and unwavering commitment. As evening fell, the celebration continued beneath the soft glow of lights and the gentle hum of music. Elon found moments to steal away with her, brief intervals of stillness where conversation, laughter, and quiet reflection intertwined. These were the moments that mattered most, unseen by the world, yet infinitely significant. In them, he felt the enduring promise of a partnership built not on circumstance but on choice, not on fascination but on understanding, not on convenience but on love. After the wedding, Elon and his new wife retreated from the spotlight for a brief period, embracing a private honeymoon that allowed them to reconnect, reflect, and simply exist as a couple without the constant hum of public attention. They chose a remote, scenic location, somewhere nature's majesty eclipsed technology and headlines, where mountains met oceans and time itself seemed to slow. For Elon, it was a rare opportunity to step away from the unending cadence of innovation and immerse himself entirely in the simple, profound beauty of human connection. Days on the honeymoon were a mixture of serene routine and spontaneous adventure. Mornings began with long walks along empty beaches, conversations drifting from playful to philosophical. Elon marveled at how grounding these moments felt, how far removed they were from boardrooms, rockets, or market analyses. They shared meals prepared together, discovering the small joys in collaboration, experimentation, and even minor mishaps. Every smile, every touch, Every shared glance reinforced the sense that this union was not built merely on attraction or circumstance but on genuine understanding and shared values. Evenings brought quiet reflection. Sitting under starlit skies, Elon often found himself pondering the extraordinary contrasts of his life, the high-stakes pressure of global business juxtaposed against the tender simplicity of holding someone's hand, the noise of fame countered by the quietude of intimate conversation, the rapid acceleration of technological progress balanced by the measured pace of shared breathing. In these moments, he realized that love, like innovation, required focus, patience, and the courage to embrace vulnerability. Messages from friends, family, and colleagues trickled in, congratulating them, offering advice, or expressing curiosity. Elon read each carefully, replying where necessary, but never allowing the outside world to intrude upon the sanctity of their time together. He had learned long ago that public opinion could be overwhelming, even suffocating, yet now he had found a quiet confidence. His life, and this love, belonged first to him and to the partnership he had chosen. The honeymoon also offered opportunities to discuss future plans, both personal and professional. Elon shared ideas, ambitions, and dreams, listening intently to her thoughts and insights. The exchange was not merely intellectual, it was a weaving together of lives, visions, and values. In planning shared goals, they discovered compatibility not just in affection but in purpose, reinforcing the strength of the foundation they had built. Returning home, reality quickly resumed its rhythm, but the honeymoon had left an indelible mark. Elon approached his responsibilities with renewed energy, inspired not only by his vision for technological progress but by the profound understanding of what it meant to nurture a human connection alongside it. He found balance in moments large and small, reading together after a long day, sharing quiet meals, and carving out time for laughter amidst the chaos of a global empire. Public reaction to the wedding continued to unfold in waves. Analysts speculated on its implications for his public image, fans debated every detail of the ceremony, and news outlets endlessly recycled footage and quotes. Elon, however, observed quietly, detached from the frenzy. The love he shared was not defined by trending hashtags or media cycles, it existed independently of opinion, thriving in the private spaces of authenticity and commitment. Even in these moments, challenges arose. Time, obligations, and the unpredictable nature of life tested their ability to remain present and connected. Yet Elon approached each challenge with the mindset of a learner, understanding that relationships, like ventures, require iteration, communication, and constant attention. Misunderstandings became opportunities for growth, disagreements became lessons in empathy, and moments of doubt were met with patient reflection rather than fear. Through it all, a deeper transformation took place within Elon. He realized that love, like progress, is not linear. It is not a series of milestones to be achieved, but an ongoing process of engagement, commitment, and presence. Success in one domain did not guarantee success in another, yet, when approached with integrity, care, and intention, both could coexist, each enriching the other. Elon began to see his life not merely as a sequence of achievements or headlines but as a tapestry woven from experiences, relationships, and growth. Every innovation, every challenge, every moment of triumph or setback was part of a broader narrative, one that now included love as an equal, essential thread. And in this realization, he found a sense of completeness he had long sought, the understanding that life's greatest accomplishments are not measured solely in technological breakthroughs or financial success, but in the depth and quality of human connection. Life after the honeymoon settled into a rhythm that balanced the extraordinary with the intimate. Elon returned to his multiple ventures, SpaceX, Tesla, Neuralink, and others, but now, there was an added layer of grounding. He approached each day with the awareness that while his innovations might change the world, it was the people closest to him who shaped the meaning of his life. His mornings began earlier than most, yet instead of diving immediately into strategy and schedules, he spent time with his wife, sharing coffee and quiet conversation before the demands of the day swept in. Their shared time became a ritual of connection. Even amidst global meetings and high-stakes decisions, Elon carved out moments to check in, to laugh, to reflect. He discovered that these small gestures, texts, calls, shared breakfasts, handwritten notes, created continuity and intimacy, threading love through the fabric of a hectic life. His fiancée, in turn, provided perspective and balance, reminding him that not all problems required immediate solutions, that sometimes presence alone was enough. Public curiosity, however, never waned. Media outlets scrutinized their every move, social media debated their choices, and fan speculation was relentless. Yet Elon had developed a skill refined over years in the public eye, observing without absorbing. He understood that their love did not require validation from external sources. Instead, it thrived in the quiet, unobserved moments where connection and understanding flourished. As weeks turned into months, Elon and his wife faced challenges typical of any marriage, intensified by the unique pressures of his global life. Long separations due to travel, high-stress decisions impacting thousands, and public scrutiny tested their patience and communication. Yet they met each challenge with deliberate care. Elon approached disagreements not as battles to be won but as opportunities for understanding. He learned to listen more deeply, to speak with clarity, and to cultivate empathy even in moments of frustration. One afternoon, during a rare break from back-to-back meetings, Elon reflected on the profound change that marriage had brought. Love, he realized, was not static. It required adaptation, growth, and intentional effort. The same qualities that drove innovation, curiosity, perseverance, and vision, were equally vital in nurturing a relationship. Each day presented choices, to respond with patience, to forgive quickly, to celebrate small victories, and to remain present even when life pulled them in multiple directions. Family and friends played a vital role in sustaining their connection. Dinner gatherings, weekend retreats, and shared celebrations strengthened bonds, creating a supportive network that enriched both their personal and social lives. Elon noticed how these interactions, though seemingly ordinary, carried extraordinary significance. They reminded him that love was embedded in context, in relationships, in shared experiences, and that no amount of innovation or wealth could replace the grounding force of human connection. Meanwhile, the couple also began to explore shared philanthropic goals. Elon, whose ventures had already aimed to transform humanity's future, now considered projects that intertwined technological progress with social impact. Together, they discussed initiatives focused on education, sustainability, and global health. These shared visions added depth to their partnership, creating a sense of joint purpose that extended beyond personal happiness. As months passed, Elon noticed subtle but profound transformations within himself. He was calmer, more patient, and more attentive, not only in his personal life but also in professional interactions. Love had reshaped him, not by diminishing ambition but by enhancing perspective. He began to recognize that success was not merely a function of achievement or recognition, but of balance, presence, and the ability to nurture both innovation and intimacy. Evenings became sacred, a time to reconnect and reflect. Sometimes they would sit together watching the city lights, sometimes in quiet conversation, sometimes simply sharing a comfortable silence. These moments, though small, were immensely meaningful. Elon realized that happiness was not a singular event but a cumulative effect of countless choices made to honor connection, empathy, and presence. In the background, the world continued its ceaseless motion. Markets fluctuated, launches proceeded, and headlines appeared. Yet within the walls of their shared life, Elon and his wife cultivated a space immune to chaos, a sanctuary where love, understanding, and partnership took precedence over external noise. Here, he discovered that even the most demanding life could coexist with deep, authentic intimacy. Months turned into a year, and Elon's marriage settled into a deeper, more resilient rhythm. The honeymoon glow had evolved into a mature, steady connection. It wasn't without challenges, of course. The demands of his global responsibilities, overseeing rocket launches, Tesla production milestones, Neuralink breakthroughs, often pulled him away from the quiet moments he cherished. Yet these absences were no longer sources of strain but opportunities to cultivate trust, patience, and communication. On a quiet evening, Elon sat on the balcony overlooking the city with his wife. The lights shimmered below like constellations brought down to earth. "Do you ever feel overwhelmed?" she asked softly, sensing the undercurrent of his relentless mind. "Always," Elon admitted, smiling faintly. "But I've learned that being overwhelmed doesn't mean I'm failing. It just means there's something I need to focus on, maybe work, maybe us, maybe myself." She nodded, a quiet understanding passing between them. In moments like these, Elon realized that love wasn't about perfection, it was about alignment, presence, and the courage to face life's chaos together. These reflections anchored him in ways that fame, achievement, and wealth never could. The media remained fascinated. Headlines alternated between awe and speculation: Elon Musk's marriage, can love survive a life in motion, or the secret behind Elon Musk's happy marriage. Social media dissected photos, schedules, and public appearances, yet Elon paid little attention. The scrutiny had been part of his life for so long that it had become background noise. What mattered was the private world they nurtured together, an invisible sphere of understanding and shared values. Throughout the year, the couple celebrated milestones, birthdays, anniversaries, personal achievements, each marked with intention. Some were lavish, others quiet and intimate. They traveled to remote destinations, sometimes for business, sometimes for pleasure, discovering together the joy of exploration without the distraction of headlines. Every journey, every shared experience, became another thread in the fabric of their partnership. Elon also noticed the subtle shifts in himself. He approached meetings with more patience, listened with more intent, and engaged with a sense of calm that was new even to him. He realized that love had transformed his leadership style. Empathy, patience, and attentiveness, qualities that had always been present in flashes, were now consistent pillars in both personal and professional realms. His wife often remarked on this, smiling as she watched him navigate challenges with a newfound balance. Yet, even in moments of joy, challenges arose. Elon's high-profile life meant that rumors, speculation, and intrusion were constant companions. Some headlines suggested tension, others questioned the longevity of their relationship. Elon confronted these with a quiet resolve. He understood that external narratives could not define the authenticity of his life. Love, like innovation, required focus, iteration, and resilience. They also began to explore philanthropy together. Projects focused on sustainability, education, and humanitarian aid became shared pursuits, deepening their connection and aligning their visions for the world. Elon found that working together toward a shared purpose strengthened the marriage in ways both tangible and intangible. The act of creating positive impact together was as bonding as the quiet, personal moments they cherished daily. One evening, reflecting on the year, Elon realized that his understanding of success had shifted. Achievements in business and technology were deeply rewarding, but they were now accompanied by the realization that human connection was equally vital. He understood that his legacy would not only be measured in rockets launched or innovations realized but also in the depth of relationships he cultivated, the love he sustained, and the lives he touched. Evenings remained sacred. Whether sharing quiet dinners, long walks, or moments of laughter, these intervals allowed them to reconnect and reinforce the strength of their bond. Elon had learned that consistency, presence, and intentionality were the real measures of love, not grand gestures, public acclaim, or perfection. In these quiet, intimate moments, Elon's life, once defined solely by ambition and innovation, found a profound equilibrium. The world could watch, speculate, and comment, but it could never fully grasp the depth, resilience, and beauty of what he and his wife had built together. Love, in its quiet power, had become the most significant venture of his life. As the second year of their marriage unfolded, Elon and his wife began to experience the rhythms of a life fully shared. Daily routines had become a delicate choreography, balancing global responsibilities with personal intimacy. Elon rose early, as was his habit, but now his mornings were shared: coffee, quiet conversation, and the gentle reaffirmation of partnership before the relentless demands of the world intruded. Business trips and launches still pulled him away, but distance no longer felt like a threat. They had built a framework of trust and communication that allowed both to thrive individually while remaining connected. Video calls, thoughtful messages, and deliberate time carved out amid the chaos became lifelines, bridging both geography and time zones. Their marriage also deepened through shared creative and intellectual pursuits. Elon's wife was not merely a companion, she was a partner in thought and vision. They debated ideas, brainstormed initiatives, and explored philosophical questions late into the night. Elon found these discussions exhilarating, a rare space where intellect and emotion converged seamlessly. Their shared curiosity and mutual respect reinforced a bond that was not dependent solely on romance, but also on shared growth and understanding. Media attention continued unabated. Paparazzi photographs, speculative headlines, and public analysis were constant reminders of the scrutiny surrounding Elon's life. Yet, he remained unmoved. The marriage, he knew, was not for public consumption. It was private, intentional, and resilient, crafted not in response to external validation but through consistent acts of love, presence, and accountability. They celebrated small victories as much as large milestones. Completing a challenging project, reaching personal goals, or even managing to steal a weekend together became reasons to pause and honor their connection. Elon realized that love was cumulative, built not just in grand gestures, but in everyday consistency, empathy, and attention. Challenges arose, as they always do in any partnership, yet these became opportunities for growth rather than points of contention. Elon applied the same principles that guided his business innovations, problem solving, reflection, and iteration, to their relationship. Misunderstandings were approached with patience, disagreements became dialogues, and moments of tension were met with careful attention rather than frustration. Their philanthropic efforts deepened as well. Elon's global initiatives now had a personal dimension. Projects they developed together reflected not only innovation but compassion and human connection. Working side by side, they created programs to support education, technology access, and sustainability. These endeavors further strengthened their partnership, intertwining shared purpose with personal fulfillment. Amid the milestones, there were intimate moments that held profound significance. Late-night walks, shared meals, spontaneous adventures, and quiet evenings at home became sacred rituals. Elon learned to cherish these moments as much as his professional achievements, understanding that the richness of life was measured not only in accomplishments but in the depth and quality of relationships. As time passed, Elon reflected on the transformation within himself. Love had reshaped him profoundly. He approached challenges with patience, communicated with clarity, and invested in relationships, both personal and professional, with renewed intention. He realized that success was no longer defined solely by innovation or recognition, but by the ability to sustain connection, nurture trust, and foster meaningful bonds. Even in moments of solitude, Elon felt the impact of love. It was not a constant excitement, but a steady, grounding presence that informed every decision, guided every choice, and infused his life with purpose. He began to see legacy in a new light, not only in technological breakthroughs but in the lives touched, the relationships nurtured, and the love sustained amidst extraordinary circumstances. Public speculation continued, yet it became a backdrop rather than a source of anxiety. Elon understood that the world could never fully perceive the depth of their bond. Love existed in the private moments, in the shared smiles, the quiet conversations, the mutual support, and the intentional attention paid to one another. These moments were impervious to scrutiny, headlines, or rumor, and in them lay the enduring truth of their marriage. Evenings became a cherished ritual. Regardless of where they were or how taxing the day had been, Elon and his wife carved out time for reflection, laughter, and conversation. These intervals of connection reinforced the strength of their partnership, providing clarity, grounding, and a reminder of why they had chosen each other. Through it all, Elon realized that life's greatest ventures were not those measured by innovation alone, but by the capacity to cultivate and sustain love, trust, and meaningful connection. And in that understanding, he found a profound sense of peace, fulfillment, and purpose that transcended both fame and fortune. As the years progressed, Elon and his wife entered a rhythm that balanced the extraordinary with the ordinary, the global with the personal. Elon's ventures, rockets, cars, continued to demand immense attention, yet he now approached each day with a perspective shaped by love, partnership, and shared purpose. He had learned that presence mattered more than perfection, that listening mattered more than instructing, and that growth required both humility and intention. Life presented unexpected challenges. There were projects that faltered, launches that faced setbacks, and decisions that reverberated across industries. Amidst these pressures, Elon discovered the stabilizing power of a supportive partner. Together, they navigated moments of uncertainty with calm deliberation, drawing strength from the knowledge that while outcomes could be unpredictable, their bond was resilient. Their marriage deepened through shared adventures, both mundane and extraordinary. They traveled to remote locations to witness celestial events, explored cutting-edge technologies together, and engaged in philanthropic projects that combined their passions. Each experience became a shared memory, a thread woven into the fabric of their life, reinforcing intimacy and mutual respect. Evenings, once fleeting, became sacred. They cultivated rituals, quiet dinners, reflective conversations, long walks beneath starlit skies, that allowed them to reconnect daily. Elon discovered that these moments, though simple, were far more sustaining than any headline, award, or public acclaim. Love, he realized, thrived in consistency, presence, and shared vulnerability. Public attention remained relentless. Paparazzi photographs, social media speculation, and news cycles dissecting their lives were constant reminders of the scrutiny they faced. Yet Elon approached this with a practiced calm. He no longer sought to control perception but focused on the reality he shared with his wife. The strength of their marriage lay in their shared understanding, mutual support, and deliberate cultivation of connection, a reality impervious to external judgment. They also faced deeply personal milestones, birthdays, anniversaries, and family celebrations that were private yet profoundly significant. Each occasion became an opportunity to honor commitment, gratitude, and joy. Elon noted that these small, intentional celebrations carried a weight far beyond public ceremonies. They were living proofs of love, patience, and shared purpose. Challenges inevitably arose. Long separations, intense workloads, and public scrutiny tested their patience and communication. Yet each obstacle was met with intention. Elon applied the same principles that guided his professional innovations, reflection, analysis, and iterative problem-solving, to their relationship. Misunderstandings became discussions, disagreements became opportunities to understand each other's perspective, and moments of doubt were transformed into deeper empathy and commitment. Philanthropic endeavors became a cornerstone of their shared life. Elon and his wife launched initiatives combining technology, sustainability, and education, channeling resources into projects that positively impacted communities around the world. Working together toward these goals deepened their partnership, aligning personal values with tangible action. They discovered that shared purpose was a powerful foundation for enduring connection. Through it all, Elon observed the subtle evolution within himself. Love had reshaped not only his personal life but also his approach to leadership, collaboration, and creativity. He had become more patient, more attentive, and more thoughtful. The same qualities that strengthened his marriage enriched his professional endeavors, creating a harmonious interplay between personal fulfillment and global impact. Even in solitude, he felt the quiet power of love. It was a grounding force, a compass that guided his decisions, and a reminder of what truly mattered. Legacy, he realized, was not solely about innovation or achievement, it was about the depth of human connection, the lives touched, and the love sustained. Years of shared experiences, triumphs, setbacks, adventures, and quiet routines, wove a tapestry of resilience and intimacy. Elon came to understand that love, like his greatest ventures, required vision, persistence, and courage. It demanded attention, intentionality, and the willingness to evolve alongside another human being. In the continuous journey of marriage, he discovered profound joy, fulfillment, and a sense of purpose that no achievement alone could provide. Even as the world continued to watch, speculate, and debate, Elon and his wife cultivated a private sanctuary, a space of trust, laughter, reflection, and unwavering support. Here, life was measured not by external validation but by the richness of connection, the depth of understanding, and the enduring commitment to grow together. And in this sacred space, Elon understood a truth far more powerful than any headline or invention: the greatest venture of all was love itself, steadfast and transformative, guiding him through every challenge, illuminating every moment, and shaping a life of meaning, purpose, and extraordinary intimacy. Over time, life presented milestones both joyous and challenging, shaping the marriage into a partnership forged through experience and understanding. Elon and his wife celebrated anniversaries with quiet intimacy, often retreating from public attention to mark their shared journey. Small gestures, a hand held while walking through a quiet park, shared laughter over a miscalculated dinner recipe, whispered encouragement before a big presentation, became sacred rituals that reinforced the foundation of their relationship. Family and close friends became integral to their lives. Elon's past experiences had taught him the importance of support networks, and now he approached these relationships with care, ensuring they were nurtured rather than neglected. Gatherings were moments of reflection and celebration, often punctuated by shared stories, lessons learned, and laughter that reminded them both of life's beauty and unpredictability. Public curiosity, however, continued unabated. Media outlets tracked Elon's every move, often sensationalizing minor details or speculating on private matters. Social media amplified every headline, turning trivial moments into viral narratives. Elon had long learned to navigate this scrutiny, but marriage introduced a new layer of responsibility, protecting not just himself but the private world he shared with his wife. He became even more deliberate about boundaries, mindful that the sanctuary of their relationship was sacred and inviolable. Amidst these dynamics, Elon and his wife pursued personal and philanthropic projects together. Initiatives focused on sustainability, technology access, and humanitarian aid became shared endeavors, weaving purpose into their daily lives. Collaborating on meaningful work strengthened their bond, creating alignment not only in affection but in vision and action. Elon discovered that shared purpose was a powerful adhesive, holding a partnership together through trials, fatigue, and the unpredictability of life. Even in moments of disagreement, the marriage thrived on intentional communication. Elon learned to approach conflicts with curiosity rather than defensiveness, to listen deeply, and to seek resolution rather than victory. These practices, though simple in principle, require discipline and mindfulness. Over time, they transformed challenges into opportunities for growth, enhancing both intimacy and resilience. The couple also experienced transformative personal moments. Private milestones, birthdays, anniversaries, or the first quiet morning after a successful project, were celebrated with intentionality. Elon began to understand that the richness of life was not measured solely by public achievements but by the depth of human connection and the accumulation of meaningful moments shared with loved ones. As their life together unfolded, Elon observed a profound internal shift. He was calmer, more attentive, and more present, not only with his wife but in professional settings as well. Love had reshaped his approach to life, infusing every interaction with empathy, patience, and thoughtful consideration. Achievements were now contextualized within the framework of shared human experience, and success was redefined to include emotional fulfillment alongside professional accomplishment. Despite the relentless pace of his professional life, Elon prioritized intimacy and connection. Quiet evenings became a ritual, whether through shared meals, walks, or conversations under starlit skies. He realized that these consistent, small moments were far more sustaining than any accolade or headline, and that love required continuous, deliberate attention, much like the ventures that had defined his career. Even as years passed and life's unpredictability presented new challenges, Elon and his wife maintained their commitment. Their marriage became a testament to resilience, trust, and the transformative power of intentional partnership. In this shared journey, Elon discovered a truth more profound than any technological breakthrough, that the greatest legacy one can create is the capacity to love deeply, sustain connection, and nurture a life intertwined with meaning, purpose, and joy. Through storms and triumphs, public scrutiny, and private victories,